That's pretty much what happened. I'd been talking about how excited I was about the Book of Mormon for several days. I was surprised that nobody was as excited about it as I was. In 2012, while also having the honor of doing the opening number for the Tony Awards, the song I Believe was also performed later on in the show. My mom probably watched that video on YouTube 500,000 times and laughed every single time she saw it. I knew parts of it by heart. I never looked into it, but it stuck with me. I knew that the Book of Mormon was going to be quite a change of pace from what we'd previously seen. The drama with dark humor, the Light Princess, the war drama. Definitely heard people full out sobbing. Warhorse. The Book of Mormon is a comedy written by the creators of South Park, Trey Parker and Matt Stone. It's about two Mormon missionaries fresh out of Provo, Utah Latter-day Saints Training Center, who are paired together and sent to northern Uganda. The main characters are Elder Price and Elder Cunningham. I was also excited because Josh Gad, who you may know either from Thanks for Sharing or Frozen, played Elder Cunningham in the original Broadway production. And another odd coincidence, one of the three lyricists for the Book of Mormon, Robert Lopez, wrote the lyrics for Frozen, as well as Avenue Q. In 2012, the Book of Mormon received 14 Tony nominations and won 9 Tonys. I thought that the Book of Mormon did a very good job of poking fun at organized religion. This musical is incredibly offensive. Explicit language, crude sexual innuendos, to put it mildly. There's something for everyone here. Something surprising was that the idea of the existence of God was really only questioned once by the main characters. It was played off for comedic effect, but not really addressed. Instead, a recurring theme was that the point of religion is belief without proof, that the key is faith. But this doesn't mean that they don't poke fun at Mormon beliefs. But this is done for a specific reason that actually ties the whole story together. They touch on this idea in the very first song, Hello.
I'll just leave it here. It has a lot of information you can really use.
Of course, the cartoonish smile and cheery tone makes this line sound sort of sarcastic. And that's it for a while. We don't touch back on it for a while. But it's a nice allusion to what happens later on in the story. After reading passages from the Book of Mormon to the people of the Ugandan village, Elder Cunningham loses everyone's interest because they can't relate to it. And in a moment of stress and pressure, the compulsive liar, Elder Cunningham, makes up new stories that are relevant to them. And lo and behold, they listen. Later on, the Ugandans also say that the ridiculous stories are obviously metaphors and that they are to be interpreted as such. I found this idea not only relevant, but profound. This idea that interpreting scripture as literal is rigid and can turn people away. That it is instead best to take them as metaphorical lessons. Everyone in the play benefits from this practice, the villagers as well as the Mormons, which was nice and surprising. The Book of Mormon also did a good job of calling out the white privilege present in many missionary practices. The Mormons' notion of what Africa will be like and their views of themselves as being superior for being Mormons is so over the top and ridiculous that hardly anyone could miss how offensive and racist they're being, even for a predominantly white audience.
Yes, throw our hands to the sky and say, Has Adiga Ibowa.
Does it mean no worries for the rest of our days?
Kind of. We've had no rain in several days. Has Adiga Ibowa.
And the Mormons aren't portrayed as stupid or cruel. While very naive and incredibly optimistic, they're not bad people. They have very good intentions. And I think that by the end, the Mormons truly see themselves as equal to their new members. Ben Brantley's review for the New York Times also has some good food for thought. In regards to the obstacles and realities they face in Uganda, that's enough to test the faith of even the most optimistic gospel spreaders, not to mention songwriters. Yet in setting these dark elements to sunny melodies, the Book of Mormon achieves something like a miracle. It both makes fun of and ardently embraces the all-American art form of the inspirational book musical. There's a plethora of profound thought and contemplation in the Book of Mormon. I haven't even talked about all the Broadway musical tropes they parodied. While I don't doubt that this sort of humor doesn't sit well with everyone, I think that a great deal of it had a purpose that wasn't about hurting people just to make an audience laugh. Family Guy. It was fantastic, and if you have the chance to see it, I highly recommend it. But don't take your kids.